Welcome to Elevate Your Ride, the podcast dedicated to elevating your performance in the saddle. I'm Ellie, your personal trainer.
And I'm Lauren, your mindset coach. Today we have with us Kaleena Weakly, a highly decorated amateur competitor in the AQHA all-around events. She's won multiple world and Congress titles with both young horses and aged horses. Today we'd like to dive a little bit into her mindset and the role that physical fitness plays into getting her into showing at the highest level. Kaleena, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey, girls. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to chat with you. So, I have always had horses in my life. My mom showed when I was young, and my mom did a lot of local showing, open shows, and she did have a lot of experience in quarter horse showing. But by the time I came around, it was mostly just having horses at home and working them. And we did a little breeding, and my parents bought me my first horse probably when I was maybe like 9, 10, 11. I can't remember exactly my age. I had a pony before that, but as you girls know, ponies can be renegades. So
Oh, yes.
I never showed the pony, but my first quarter horse, I don't know why, but I was very intimidated. I'd go to the shows and watch my mom show the horse that they had bought me, and I don't know, I don't know if it was nerves or I was scared to go out and compete. I'm not really sure, but finally I remember being 13 and finally mustering up, being brave and ready and confident to go show. And I had a great first day with that horse in the show pen, and from then on out, I was hooked. My mom just kinda gave me the reins, and she quit showing, and I started showing him consistently all that summer, and then it just evolved into, hauling him to all the open shows, and we do the little quarter horse program where you turned in your open show points, and you would get, like, awarded in that state affiliation at the end of the year. So I'm from Michigan, and Michigan had an awesome open show program. They had, like, the year-end awards and just it was a great association to get your feet wet, learn, make amazing friends that I still keep in touch with to this day.
How did it feel going from the state level to the national level? Was there any intimidation for you there? Or being a youth, were you pretty much bold and fearless and just went for it?
That's a great question. So the Michigan Quarter Horse Association, they have like a lot of great shows up there. They still do to this day. So I remember showing with Krista, we do all those circuits in Michigan. And then I always remember we'd go to Virginia over spring break in April, and we'd always go to the Gold Coast. Those were like the two big ones that we'd go get our feet wet at. And they were huge shows back in the day. I kinda had the confidence to go out of state because we did that, we traveled there, and, we had success at Virginia. So I feel like the main reason to start for me, when I turned amateur, one of the main reasons to start more on the national level was back then, it was a huge deal to haul for the high points, like, huge. And Krista's daughter, Brandy Baldwin, she was big on hauling for high points when she was a youth, and she won the youth all around several times. So I got to watch her do that, and I feel like that gave me a great confidence booster being with Krista and seeing Brandy do that. It kind of gave me the bug. I wanted to try it. So when I turned amateur, my mom and dad and I had talked about that being an option, but you had to go out of state to get the points you needed or to get the exposure so other people would see you on the other coast, like whether it be we only went as far as like the Texas Classic and the Red Bud in Florida. So that was kind of the beginning of hauling and getting the bug for hauling for a title. So I hauled that roan horse. We ended up winning the reserve all around in the nation that year. Karen Evans Monday won it because she was an amateur back then. She was like my idol, amateur all around idol when I was showing. When I had just started, she won the all around and I was reserve. And then we ended up winning the showmanship and the Western riding high point that year.
Hey, Elevate Your Ride fans. Are you loving our show and looking for a way to show your support? Check out our line of Elevate Your Ride merchandise. From stylish t-shirts to cozy hoodies to journals and hats, we have everything you need to represent your favorite podcast. Ready to gear up? Click on the Buy Our Merchandise Here link in the podcast notes, or head on over to our website, elevateyourride.co, and click on the Store tab. Thank you for your support. Make sure to like, follow, and share our platform with your friends. Yeah. So, how did you handle that mentally of not comparing yourself to where other people were and being able to stay in your lane, stick to your plan, and get it done
Right.
and not fall apart at the end?
Right, so we started that year I mean, after we had talked about it, we were just going after the showmanship because, to back up, my horse actually hurt himself at the show in Florida, and he had a suspensory injury. So for the first 5 months of that year, I could only do showmanship. I couldn't even lunge him. So, in my mind, we were just hauling for the showmanship, but as you know, the showmanship usually is the biggest class of the horse show, and it was
Mhm.
back then for sure.
Showmanship's always been a class that I love watching you in. You are absolutely my idol. You have a way of presenting yourself aggressively, but it's still so soft and perfect. How do you feel that you got that style and are able to knock it out every time so consistently?
Well, thank you. I could say the same things about you, Lauren.
Oh, man, I don't know. Thanks.
Yes, I love your showmanship as well, but I don't know why the showmanship has always been a favorite of mine, like you said, with every horse, and it started with my horse that I showed as a youth at the open show levels. I don't know, I worked a lot with him at home, and I did well at the open shows, and then when I progressed over to showing quarter horses, that was just a class I always did well in. I loved it. I love to smile through the whole pattern. It
Mhm.
comes natural. It's not a forced thing. And I remember having success really early on at the quarter horse shows, even in like the 14 to 18. I could win the novice, and then that was the only class that I would also do the 14 to 18. The other classes I wasn't as confident in, and I would do well in the 14 to 18 as a novice. And so it just like it gave me a boost of confidence, and it kind of stuck with me. I made sure every horse I had, we taught it the showmanship, and, now I've been with Jason since 2009, so that's what, going on 14 years. He knows I love showmanship, he loves showmanship, so every time we start a new project or we get a young one, he always makes sure, we get it learning the showmanship because he knows that that's, like, my favorite class. I remember, it's been a couple years ago, Clint Ainsworth came up to me and he paid me a great compliment. He said, "I always watch you do the showmanship." And he was talking to one of his youth kids. He was like, "You need to watch her do the showmanship. I've seen her show horses that are light in the chain, and I've seen her show horses that are heavy in the chain, and she can pull them both off." And I had never thought about it like that before. And after he said that, I was like, that means the world to me coming from him. And it really resonated in me that I have had a lot of very different showmanship horses as far as some of them are like heavy on the chain and you have to drag them around but you can't make it look like you're dragging them around. And then there's horses that are really light and you're like almost like having to push the brake with them all the time. And so it's just feeling that, middle ground in between what they're giving you and what you can ask for. And some horses you can practice a lot with and they're good with that. And then there's other horses where you can't practice a lot with them. It makes them, maybe more dull or more heavy. And they're better fresh out of the stall. So it's definitely learning your partner and learning the dance with them and what is best for them as far as, a lot of practice, not a lot of practice. Obviously, with the young horses, the green ones, you have to put a lot of practice in for sure. But some of the older guys, it's like less is more at this point.
Are you looking for that extra competitive edge, struggling with show pen anxiety, or looking to set and achieve meaningful goals with your horse? Schedule a session with me, Lauren, your dedicated mindset coach. As an experienced competitor, I understand the mental demands required to excel at the highest level, and am here to support you in building a plan to help you stay accountable and reaching those goals. For more information, check out laurencervelli.com or click on the website link in our show notes. Let's work together to elevate your ride. So, like you said, you have worked with a lot of young horses. How did your mindset change working with a young one and going into a pen for the first time? versus once they'd been doing it for maybe a year or two and you could step it up to the next level? How did you know how to regulate it back versus step it up?
Comparing the young horses to the old horses when you're doing the pattern classes. I know with the younger ones, I could practice and it's like you have to think ahead. You have to think about your next maneuver and set them up for success, whether it's finishing a turn square or, hesitating, or are they better off just to keep moving, like when you finish that turn and go right into the next thing. Whereas with an older horse, Jason's really drilled it into my head because I've had about 3 really great seasoned older horses over the last, 5, 6 years, and you really have to stay in the moment, and Jason will say, "You think they're gonna do it, so you better not be thinking it before you get to that part of the pattern because they're gonna do it," and he's so right, like, they know their job. I've been blessed with, a lot of horses that wanna please you, they're really not being naughty, and it's such a, I don't know, like a fresh way to think about it because I know a lot of people will be like, "Oh, that horse is being bad," or he's anticipating, but, they're not. They're old horses. They know their job. It genuinely, if you stop and you're thinking about turning right, you don't even know that your body's telling them to do it, and they're doing it, and they're not being naughty, like, they just wanna do their job. And once I learned that, things just fit into place so much better. And so if I just try to stay in the moment and think, you're extending trot, stop, I'll stop and sit and make myself wait. It's almost like more for me than the horse, because whether it's going into a back or a spin or whatever the next maneuver is with those older horses, like you have got to remain in the moment and then, you think the next thing and they're going to do it for you.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I have been kind of in a cycle of the younger horses lately, and so I've forgotten that that's what happens when they get broke, right? But you
Yeah,
put it so well of they're just trying to please you, and so it's about mental control for yourself of being patient, being in the moment with them and allowing
100%.
them allowing them to do their job. What made
Mhm.
you make the transition between the younger prospects to lately the more aged horses?
Oh, yes, totally the children factor.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was all about I love doing the younger horses before I had kids, love the process. I mean, no secret to you, you're the same way. I could go to the horse show every single weekend.
Yeah.
So, like, when I had Blondie and she was 3, 4, 5, we went all the time, and I loved it, I loved the process, and Jason knows that I thrive and I do well when I'm on the road showing all the time. So, we've really had to change the mindset now that I can't go down the road and show all the time, nor do I want to go on the road and show all the time. But with the green horses, the young ones, that's how you made them. You had to go to the horse show. That's where things really happen and you get them broke and you teach yourself so many things going up and down the road. But now that I have children, for me, the older horses are where it's at. I want to go and enjoy my family while I'm at the shows, enjoy my horse, go out to dinner, and then come home and do all the things with the kids, the sports, the dance. We go more now, say every 6 to 8 weeks versus we'd at least go probably twice a month back in the day with the younger horses.
That's insane. That's so much showing. Like, I can't imagine doing it
I
that
know.
much. I bet that it's challenging to go from showing that often to not showing quite as much. So, how do you balance being a successful mom and being a successful amateur at the same time?
So, it was really hard to switch over. After I had my first child, Jax, I feel like I still showed quite a bit, and I wanted to. I felt like I didn't wanna, like, become irrelevant or lose my edge. I felt like the longer I sat out, I was gonna miss something or lose something. So, we went quite a bit, definitely not twice a month, but I would say once a month, and I would take a friend to help with the kids, or it was just Jax back then. But then I had Jethro, which is no question I'm lazy. And I remember being in this really hard position where I had this really great horse and I also wanted to have another baby. And so I just thought, I can't have this amazing horse and show him to his best ability. He needed to be campaigned and I wanted to have another child and I just couldn't do that. So we decided, well, we didn't even have him for sale. We were just propositioned at a horse show if we wanted to sell him. And so it's kind of like, it's hard. Like, I don't usually advertise my horses for sale. They're usually bought, when they're at the top of their game doing well. So that was hard letting him go. But I knew that I wanted to focus more on my family, have another child. So we did that. We had Knox, and I still had a couple young horses after I had Knox, but I just didn't show them as much. It was more, I would go to the shows and watch Jason show in like the 3-year-old trail and get them more seasoned for when I was ready to show the all around classes. And then we decided, actually, it was my husband was like, why don't you let the trainers focus on the young ones, get them more broke, and why don't we get an older horse that's ready for you to go show and have fun and it not be staying up all night at the shows, learning the pattern, teaching your green horse the pattern when you have 2 kids with you. It was just a lot. And so I was like, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
So we looked for an older horse. We found one. He was like the first older horse we bought and had like the best time. That was in 2019. He was it was awesome. We clicked. He did all the classes. We showed up, came to the horse show, practiced, put him up, went to dinner. It was like, this whole different side of having an older seasoned horse where you just came and you practiced, and then I would watch Jason show our young horses, and it was just a really enjoyable process. And we've kind of continued that on. And it's not a stressful thing to pack up everybody and go to the horse show. It's like something we look forward to. And then at the same time, come home, look forward to dance class and football and all the things, we do at home that we love, and trying to find a balance between still pursuing your passion and having goals, but yet also focusing on family life and your children's goals and family time and taking vacations that don't include horses. And, that is a thing.
I didn't know
So,
that.
right? I didn't know that either until like 3 years ago. But yeah, no, it's great. And it's been about 2 years now. I started working with a personal trainer and adding some different fitness classes in at home because I don't get to ride my show horses as often as I would like because they're at Jason's and he's in Indiana, which is only 3.5 hours away. So it's not bad. But with 2 kids and their schools and their schedules and extracurricular activities, it's hard to get over there to practice. I used to go a lot when I didn't have children. I'd spend several days there, every couple months when we didn't have a horse show. But now with the kids, I definitely I might go before the Congress and do a little prep. But for the most part, my riding and practicing with the show horses happens only at the shows. And that did stress me out a bit for a while. And so now that I have more of a workout routine and a nutritionist and someone I work out with, I have noticed how much stronger I am now at the horse shows. And it doesn't stress me out to think, oh my God, I haven't ridden in a month. I have a horse at home and my daughter has a horse at home. So I do get riding in, but it's different than the horse you're competing with. So I feel like I have a newfound strength. I just feel stronger as a rider. I feel stronger as a mom to my kids. Have better endurance. I can play with them and just do all the things. And then I still feel like when I get to the horse show, I don't feel like I'm so far behind everybody else, like all the newly turned amateurs that are in college and riding on the equestrian team. I used to be like, oh my gosh, these young girls, they're coming in hot. But I feel like doing my homework at home and working out, and my trainer knows that I show horses and he tries to set me up for success as far as, the muscles to work, and he knows where I want to be strong and what I want to be good at. And so totally see the benefit in having that.
What are the specific exercises that you typically work on with your personal trainer?
Well, I wouldn't say they're like specific for riding, but he knows that I want leg strength and arm strength. And so I do like heavy lifting once a week. And it's funny how much that has helped. Even when we go to the halter futurities in the fall, I remember I used to be so sore after showing those halter babies all morning. Like my shoulders and my back would just be killing me because you're holding their heads up and all the things, or even, going to the horse show and riding without stirrups and just the normal things that go along with equitation and horsemanship. And I would just be so body sore. And I really have noticed in the last year how much it's helped the weightlifting and how much stronger my upper body is. And, my shoulders don't get sore anymore. It felt really good that this last circuit in Florida, we had to do a lot of no stirrups in the equitation. And I was like, oh no, I haven't ridden without stirrups since, well, it'd been a while. And it was not a problem at all. It was so exciting. I came home and I told him right away, I was like, wow, you really had me in great shape for my no stirrup action at the horse show.
Yeah, it's amazing how much of a difference it makes when you work out and work towards fitness in the saddle because you can ride as much as you want, but fitness outside of it, I think directly correlates. It's made a huge difference for me with Ellie, and I
Yeah,
just can't believe it. And the
I
showmanship
know it.
too, being able to have the stamina to run. I mean, they make
Yeah.
us extend the trot a lot now.
I know, and, like, running on the treadmill is not anything like running in sand with your 1,500-pound partner.
Nope, it's
N
sure not.
I know it, and it is amazing to me how much, because I would go out, we have a really great park here at home, and I would go and run in the park. They have, like, a gravel trail, and it's hilly, and I thought, "This'll really help me." And it helped a little bit, but it's still I'd be out of breath at the showmanship pen. And adding the weights and just really working on strength training has really helped my endurance and just everything. When I first got in with this trainer, I was like, look, I don't want to look like a bodybuilder. I don't want to be bulky, but it's not just about being skinny. Like, you need to be fit, you need to be strong. And so he knows what my goals are and he knows what I'm looking for. And he's been great.
That's the funny thing about showmanship is people come to me all the time and they're like, "Okay, like I really wanna get better at the showmanship, so let's start running." And I'm like, you don't have to go on runs to actually get
Right.
better at the showmanship."
Mhm.
I'm not a runner. I go and I play soccer once a week for 20, 30 minutes, and then I run when I'm at the barn doing showmanship, but I don't
Mhm.
go on runs outside of that. But what
Right.
I do is I focus on strength training and I
Mhm.
focus on balance and stability training, and
Yeah.
that gives me a strong base of support. So, the thing that fatigues people when they're running in the dirt, because like you mentioned, it's different running in the dirt than running on the treadmill.
Mhm.
When you're running in the dirt, your body is in an unstable position and you're holding onto a horse, right? Like,
Mhm.
especially if you're doing showmanship with the younger horses, let's say the horse gets off balanced, you have to correct that, right? So you're working against the horse and against the ground at the same time. So you
Exactly.
have to be stable and you have to be strong against that. If you have those
Mhm.
2 components, it's going to be so much easier for you to run around in the dirt. But if you're not strong and if you're not stable and you go to do a quick turn or an extended trot or a hard stop, your body is going to have to work so much harder just to keep you stable, to keep you from falling over.
Right, 100%.
Hi, everyone. It's your personal trainer, Ellie. If you're looking to become a stronger, more balanced, and flexible rider, I'm here to help. I offer virtual personal training sessions and customized workout plans that you can complete on your own. As a fellow competitor, I understand the physical demands riding requires, and my goal is to help you perform your best for your horse, whether you're preparing for a show or just want to improve your everyday rides. Visit lopindowntherailfitness.com or click on my website tab in the notes of this podcast episode to learn more. Let's work together to elevate your ride. So, do you have a specific workout routine that you do at the shows, or do you take that time off?
I I would love to say I did, but no, I take that time off because I generally do always bring my kids. Jax doesn't come as much as he used to because we're very strict about not missing school, but Knox still comes quite a bit, and now that she's showing and has a horse, I do pick and choose when she can miss school. But for the most part, most of the shows, I have a child there, so between having family there and practicing and just not getting totally exhausted and wore out, I don't usually do my workout routine at the shows. I'm pretty diligent every day. I do something, if it's a class or just in my basement with weights or with my trainer. I usually try and do something every day, maybe not on the weekends every day, but so then, like I said, I only go to horse shows probably every once 6 weeks or even 8 weeks. So I do kind of give my body a break from the weights at the horse show and just use my riding and practicing and showmanship as my workout routine per se for there.
Oh, yeah, and I think that that's perfect. I mean, I don't work out when I'm at shows, and I think that that's part of it, right? Is because you have a specific, consistent routine that you follow at home, you don't have to work out at the shows because you've been putting in that work at home. When you get to the show, you can kind of take a back seat a little bit with your fitness, and your fitness is gonna still be at the same level that you went to the horse
Yes,
show when you come home from the horse show. Like, just because you put in hard work for 6 months and then you take a week or 2 off when you go to the horse show, that 6 months of progress is still there. It doesn't go away when you
for
go take
sure.
a week or 2 off. And
Right.
I think that that's where some people get themselves into a little bit of trouble is they start a fitness routine and they wanna stay on track with it. And so when they go to the shows, shows are exhausting, right? Even if you don't
Mhm.
have kids, they're exhausting. It's early mornings, it's late nights, you're working hard. People usually aren't eating enough, people usually aren't
Mhm.
drinking enough water. Like, it's very challenging on your body physically and mentally. And to add a workout in on top of that, it's not gonna be in your best interest. There's no reason to
Right.
make yourself even more exhausted mentally or physically. So what I do is I usually take my foam roller. I will maybe do a couple stretches if I'm feeling stiff, but other than
Mhm.
that, I make sure that I pick up on my routine when I get home, and that's usually what I recommend to my clients too.
Yes. And it's funny because my trainer at home likes to send like pictures of my watch, like if I've done my own workout routine at home. So I'll send
Yeah.
him pictures of my watch at the end of a horse show day, and he'll be like shocked at how many steps we took and the calories we burnt, even though we weren't working out his way, but it's like a different form of working out. And that's a great break for your body, like doing something different. It's
Yes.
like almost even beneficial. It's like not doing the same thing every day. It's awesome for your body. And for sure, like if I'm gone at a horse show for 10 days or whatever, I come back, hit the weights. Of course, I'm going to be sore those first couple days getting back into
Right.
the other workout routine. But a big thing he stresses to me is the nutrition. Like they say, it's 80% in the kitchen, 20% in the gym. It's totally true. If I follow my nutrition at the horse shows, that is a great tool to use if you are stressed out about not getting in the gym or not working out and you're worried you're going to lose everything. If you're good 80% with your nutrition, you're going to be okay. And that helps with your energy and your endurance, all the factors. If I find if I stick to my nutrition at home and then try to stick to it pretty darn closely at the horse shows, it doesn't mess me up as much as far as feeling tired or worn out. It really helps if you stay consistent with that.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you focus on with your nutrition when you go to a horse show?
So he sends me a travel nutrition guide and I try to stick to that. And I basically, like a lot of small meals. And I do try to get in a breakfast. I'm not usually a breakfast person, but he has kind of switched over my mindset as far as, you need to have your protein and you need to, every meal, even a snack, you should have protein. And so I do find that, having that breakfast and the small meals all throughout the day really helps.
Yeah, that's the same for me too. I have to have breakfast when I go to a horse show, just as to be able to have enough energy to make it throughout the day. If
For
I
sure.
miss that meal, I'm kind of operating from behind the rest of the day.
Right, and there's so many days you're literally so busy or you forget you don't get hungry until dinner time. So at least if you have breakfast, at least you've got something to fuel you throughout the day.
Thank you for listening to Elevate Your Ride. Find us on Instagram and Facebook, all linked in the podcast notes. We'll see you next time. The information provided by Elevate Your Ride is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended as medical or professional advice. While we discuss health and fitness topics related to equestrians, the content provided through this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. The views expressed by the host and guests on Elevate Your Ride are their own and should not be taken as professional guidance. We strive to provide accurate and up to date information, but we cannot guarantee that the information will be applicable to every individual listener or that it reflects the most current research or guidelines. Before making any changes to your health and fitness routine, we strongly recommend consulting with a qualified professional who can provide personalized advice based on your individual needs and circumstances. Elevate Your Ride and its creators will not be liable for any direct, indirect, consequential, special, exemplary, or other damages arising from the use of information on this podcast. Thank you for listening to Elevate Your Ride. We are committed to providing high quality content and appreciate your trust in us as a source of information for your health and fitness journey.